My name is Arthur Clay. I am the co-founder of the National Brotherhood of Skiers. And I guess my story in the ski industry would be something like from the cotton fields to the snow fields. I was born in Mississippi. My family moved at a very early age to Chicago. I had no idea of where I was going or what I was going to do in life other than finish high school so I could get a job. Did that, was lucky enough to get a scholarship to go away to college. Finished college on time, came out, went into the service, came out of the service still not knowing what I really wanted to do. I'm around Chicago, and most of the people that I knew who skied or anything like that were some of the more influential people around Chicago who, I say blacks who skied were either lawyers or dentists or, my friends basically were school teachers, bus drivers, stuff like that. Well, after getting to Chicago and finding some guys who tried to get me to go skiing, they invited me to a meeting. There were at the time maybe 3 ski clubs in Chicago. And I went to one, and there were so many snotty folks there who I already knew who didn't even speak when I came in. I went to another club where they had some very beautiful young ladies, and everybody received me well. I said, I might like this. Well, they had what they call a ski party at the Playboy Club up at Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. And it wasn't an expensive thing to do. It was a ski party, and we were just going to have a party, but I might learn how to ski going up there. Well, went up to this ski party, and if you know anything about the Midwest and Midwest skiing, we have no mountains. We have very few high hills. And you ski off this little hill. Well, the first time I went up there, with this ski party, they give you a rental and a lesson and all. Well, one of my buddies is going to teach me how to ski, and he didn't know how to ski. We fall down the hill, and when I get to the bottom of the hill, I say, well, that's it for me. I'm through skiing. But this is a ski party, and they had on the first level of the Playboy Club, they had something, let's see, I think they call it a loaf of bread, was a restaurant. And then on the next floor was a bar. They had a jug of wine, and on the top floor, Dial by My Side. Well, I went and Dial by My Side and met some of these cutie pies. And so happened, 2 of them invited me to go skiing the next week. I say, oh Lord, something nice. Now, I had no skis, so I went to Sears. And I got some of these skis, they hold your hand up and, they measure the ski under your arm and I had those, cable bindings and cheap boots, and we drive for maybe 5 or 6 hours to get up to northern Michigan just to go skiing. And they said, well, we're going to take this lesson called STEM Christie, and they explained it to me. I said, well, I can do that. So, okay, the next morning we get up early. And we were the first ones out on the lift, and their lesson started about an hour after we got there. So, okay, we're going to go up and do the easiest run. Okay, I fell getting out of the chair. I fell getting up. I just kept falling, I had fallen over in some bushes along the side of this little beginner trail. And a guy came along and said to me, why don't you come on and ski down the mountain with me? I'll show you how to get down. Well, excuse the phraseology, but at the time, I didn't want no white folks teaching me nothing. So he just kept insisting and kept insisting. And, finally I gave in and said, okay, show me how to get down this mountain. I stood up and fell down. And he said, okay, the first thing you're doing, he said, you got to keep the upper part of your body facing downhill. I didn't know what that meant then. But by the time we got from the near the top of the beginner hill to the bottom, he had taught me to keep the upper part of my body facing downhill. And before we left that ski area, I could ski most of the trails. And from, that got me started to wanting to go skiing. Well, the pretty girls is what actually got me started. The lesson that guy, his name was Elgin Lee. And he said that he taught skiing somewhere in Colorado and that his sons were in school in Colorado. I don't think I saw him once after that. But after these two cutie pies got me interested in this sport, I joined the ski club, which had a lot of folks that I knew. A lot of my girl who had gone to Sunday school with me at 4 and 5 years of age, So I said, well, this might be my kind of, inside of a year, they had elected me to be their trip chairman. And during the time that I was a trip chairman, maybe for 6 years, in the Midwest, we took a ski trip every weekend. It's either a one-day trip, a weekend trip, or a ski vacation every weekend from Thanksgiving to Easter. And we were having a lot of fun doing it. I had little problems filling a bus because, I'm getting all my friends and, here's some girls over here, okay. Then the guys would come to get the girls, and then when we get enough guys, the girls would come. So we'd go on ski trips, and every trip we'd have a party, in the evening, and nobody could really ski, but we could have a real good time. One of the requirements, I think, back then to go on a ski trip was to carry one of these attaché cases with the liquor in it. If you had enough liquor, you're gonna have a good time. But we would go and we'd have these parties, and finally we would start doing things like taking hot dogs. We take hot dogs and hot dog buns and the mustard and all, and we would rent these A-frame condominiums where you had a stove in there, and all you needed was a pot to make a hot dog, a pot to put some water in it and put it in there, and then take it out on the hill and have a picnic on the hill, and it grew into what we call even today the Snow Gophers Ski Carnival. And at the carnival, we would invite the other clubs in Chicago and anybody who wanted to come. You didn't even have to ski. Just come. And we would have a lot of fun. We had, the races were like, you had to put on a pair of ski boots and run from one point to the other. Go over bales of hay with your skis. Just something, not anything that was real. I think at the first summit, the only real races that we did were around ski poles that were stuck in the hill. Now, coming together for the first time, at this ski carnival, this guy that Ben talked about earlier, Joe Dorsey, was a frat brother of mine who had come from New York to Chicago, and he went on a trip with us. And we sitting in the back of the bus talking about, we want to get this thing going. We had invited, we knew of a club in Detroit. We knew of the one that he talked about, Dick Martin in New York. Well, we invited Dick Martin to come to the first one. We never heard from him. But the one in Detroit, they've been a staunch supporter of the Brotherhood from day one. Now, after Ben and I talked, well, this guy, Joe Dorsey, tells me, I'm going on vacation to California. Well, he went on vacation and came back, and he said, well, I know this guy out in California who has a club. Okay, we talked. Ben and I talked. We got it. We had, I think it must have been, that had to be in something like 1970 or 71. Because we took, instead of planning the thing for the next ski season, it was 2 ski seasons later so we could have time to do this. Well, from 71 to the time the summit really took place, we went out trying to gather, names of other ski clubs or other individuals who skied, and we sent invitations to them, and the invitations were well responded, but stuff, people like Dick Martin didn't think nothing of coming. In 75, we invited Earl Graves, who was the editor and publisher of Black Enterprise, and he came. Sun Valley. He came to Sun Valley in 75, and he had the kind of mind that, that tapped into the business aspect of doing this. I was in it for the fun. I wanted to have a lot of fun, and it was fun for me to come and sit at the bar and drink, and I learned to ski as well as most of the folks in the Brotherhood, but I wasn't there. They used to tell me that the summit was only for skiers. Hey, the summit is for anybody who want to come and have fun. Now, that way, we have gotten tons of folks interested in skiing. Tell you something funny. Now, makes no difference where I go in the black community, somebody is going to say, if they say you're from Chicago, yeah, well, do you know Arthur Clay? I'm Arthur Clay. I was on a. Oh, by the way, I'm a scuba diver also. As a matter of fact, I'm a scuba instructor. I was on I guess you could call it a vacation down in the Bahamas, and I just happened to be invited to the National Basketball Association's annual meeting. And I'm talking about, this was back in the day when Shaq was playing, and now Kobe didn't show up, but all the rest of them, I'm surrounded by all these stars and everything. Well, they had a boat cruise from Nassau over to this island. And we were there sitting on the boat, big yacht, like a great big yacht, a lot of people on there, and we sitting there talking. And this guy says, he says, I go skiing all the time, and there's a guy sitting between me and him. And, we started listening to him talk, and he says, me and this other guy formed this organization of black skiers, and there's so many of them. And the guy sitting between us say, well, who was the other guy? He said, oh, the other guy was Arthur Clay. He said, that's Arthur Clay right there. That's happened to me more than once. More than once. That happened on a scuba trip, you know, and so many things, there are so many things that has happened, you know, really in the black community that have sprung off of the National Brotherhood of Skiers. See, in the 70s, we didn't do much, say, I'm trying to think of what they call it now, something like destination weddings. We didn't go on cruises as a group. We did very few things as a group. Well, from the Brotherhood, I know the National Black Boaters Association that started. The National, NABS is called, the National Association of Blacks in Scuba, has started. You know, there are a lot of, I don't know whether they're travel agencies or travel clubs or whatever, who specialize in getting black groups together now. Like there's a...
You guys start that, you think?
We didn't actually start it, but it started from, you know, the idea to you see, one year, Sinbad came to a summit, and he was like the comedian, and, you know, in talking to him, you know, I was telling him that what we need is, you know, more established entertainment. You know, like we've had some very good, you know, we've had the Funkadelics and George Clinton and the Funkadelics. We've had several, you know, I can't name them now, but we've had several people come in. I say, well, we need somebody like that every day. Well, he left the summit and went and started, you know, a summit, you know, a carnival or something in the Caribbeans, and got a lot of people to go. Tom Joyner's morning show came, and Tom Joyner put on something in the Caribbean. And you see, well, we, even today, are stuck at charging something like $250 to register for a week of very good activities. Tom Joyner's thing, the register for it was like $3,000. And he was getting, hey, okay, if you get 25 people together and got something to talk about, you can have a dinner. You can have, okay, we're gonna have a dinner and we're gonna honor so and so and so and so. If you get 25 people to do that, you can have the dinner. Now all you gotta do is worry about where you're gonna put, if you get more than 25, where you gonna put them. And that philosophy worked out well for us. You know, we would start with a small group, and it'd expand and expand, and, you know, like everybody's saying, you know, how good a time they had. Okay, what's the next question?
Well, you know, why band it together? Because you had a club you were skiing with out of Chicago. What made you want to grow it?
Let me tell you this. We would, like I say, we used to do 17 at least trips a ski season. And in those days, we would be the only blacks on the hill. If you saw another black, he was with a white group, and before we left that ski area, we were friends. And usually that person would come on over and go skiing with us once or twice, although they didn't stop skiing with the club that they were with. Eventually they became members of the Snowhover Ski Club. But, like, say, being on a chairlift in the Midwest, you ride up a chairlift for 5 minutes maybe, or 3 minutes. That's how long the hill is. You ride up the chairlift for 3 minutes, take you 30 seconds to get to the bottom again. You get back in the line, you stand in the line for 45 minutes, and then, you do that all day. You do that all day. I forgot what I was talking about.
What brings people to do that again? Why?
Oh yeah, they would do it. They would do it again. We like organized bus trips. Now, if you're gonna ride a bus for 6 hours, you have to have some kind of fun. I mean, in those days we didn't have DVDs where you could play on the bus and all, so it had to be something like singing old camp songs and put your left foot in and put your left foot out, all that kind of stuff. But surprisingly, grown folks like that kind of stuff. So we did, had different kind of little contests and singings and stuff to, just make the trip a lot of fun. And to me, skiing is fun. I ain't never wanted to win no race, but I do like to feel that wind in my face. What's today? Today is the 26th.
Saturday the 26th, yeah.
It's 26 minus 7. 26 minus 7.
19.
Okay. One week ago today, I turned 85. And the TV show in Chicago sent a crew out there, and they took some videos and did this about this old man, 85, who had started this organization. Now, it's funny that even black folks today say that blacks don't ski. We ski, but we are still much less than 1% of the skiing population. So if we don't come out in a group, you don't see us. And I guess it's that old stereotype about like we all look the same. People come up to me and address me as Ben. And I'll go to Ben and address Ben as me. It's been a great journey. It has been a great journey. I've loved, and you asked the question earlier about a favorite ski area. All of them are my favorite, except I can tell you the ones that I least like. Like what I like. Hey, everybody gotta like Vail. Everybody gotta like Snowmass. But I mean, when you get over there to that Mount Brighton, right out of Salt Lake City, I think it is, and it's only a hill like you got in the Midwest. No, I don't want to do that. The the runs are too short at Purgatory. I like all of them. I don't like skiing on the East Coast because it's too icy. It's the same way New Zealand and South America and all that kind of stuff. They are too icy. I mean, the best skiing in the world is in these mountains, in the mountains of the United States. The best skiing in the world. And from now on in the future, if you see a group of blacks on the ski hill, or even the one black, anytime you see a group on the ski hill, they're gonna have Ben and my spirit with them. They're gonna know us. And not only will they know us, now they will know about the museum, the Hall of Fame. They'll know about the museum. Hey, until Peggy told me that I was the Ski Hall of Fame, I thought you was talking about the Basketball Hall of Fame or something like that. I had never heard of the Ski Hall of Fame. And then when they talk about it being in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, what? Now they're talking about having something at the museum this summer in September. And the club president of the Snowboard Ski Club, which I'm still affiliated with, she's saying, well, we're going to try to get a bus together to go up there. I asked Justin last night, I said, if we get a bus and come up there, can you put up, can we get 15 rooms? So evidently the town it's one of those one gas station towns. He said we were going to work it out, but we'll probably have a bus going up there, and to see this museum. But whatever happens, the museum, the ski industry, et cetera, will know that we are there. Now, I'm noticing more ads. Like you pick up a magazine nowadays or look at TV nowadays. You're gonna see, if you look at TV long enough, you're gonna see a black face. I can remember when shows like Julia used to come on, and everybody in the community was huddle around the TV set. The general public, I don't know whether this is George Floyd had to do with it, or just the fact that nothing has been done with it over the years. The black community is getting some recognition at this time. If you can come with another question, I'm ready for it.
Well, I guess I'd ask you what founding the Brotherhood means to you. Founding the MBS, what?
This, and I told Ben, this will be my legacy. When the history of blacks in skiing is written, I want it to include the boy who was born in the cotton field and ran through the snow fields. I never thought I'd be in any Hall of Fame, especially, the only ones that I knew of, the sports Halls of Fame. Now, I don't know how old this organization is. I'm very, very appreciative of the fact that they have started to accept us, to let us in, and we will do you proud.
Well, it's up in Ishpeming, that Hall of Fame, because in 1907, the United States Ski Association was formed up there because of ski jumping.
Isping, that's the way you pronounce it.
Ishpeming.
Ishpeming, Ishpeming.
Yeah, Ishpeming. And it is at the end of the earth, it's way up.
Yeah, well, I've been up there. This place, well, Indian Head Mountain, that's where Indian Head, Powderhorn, and Blackjack, those are the Michigan, those are the northern, that's the best skiing in the Midwest, really. It is the best skiing in the Midwest. You go up there on one side of the lake, and the other side of the lake is Boyne Mountain. Boyne, and all of them now. Boyne is closer than going up there to Ishpeming.
Marquette. Just think of it as Marquette.
Yeah. Well, now I know Marquette. But I got to find out whether or not they're gonna have the facilities to handle a group of 30 up there, since it's so small. I mean, he laughed Justin laughed when I said, "Hey man, can you handle 30 folks?" Well, we had to work it out.
So, this scheme for you now, has it meant a lot in your life?
Skiing has helped me to have the fun that I thought I'd never have. Skiing has caused me to travel around the world. Skiing has introduced me to, well, first of all, my wife, and most of my friends over the years have taken part in skiing. I'll continue to try to bring more people into skiing, although, like Ben said earlier, he's had his last, well, I don't have trouble breathing. I now have trouble walking. But I'm going to try to ski for the last time next year. That'll be our 50th anniversary. I'm going to try to make my last run, and I'll make my last run down a green trail. I'm not going to try to do anything fancy anymore. When I was first learning to ski, I think I broke my leg. And as I got better, I broke my neck. It didn't, when I broke my leg, it didn't occur to me that it was time to stop skiing. I broke my leg 1 week and led a ski trip to Courchevel in France the next week on a crutch.
Well, you've probably been more places skiing than anybody, or anybody can imagine.
It's really funny. You see, and I've never had a, I couldn't afford to ski. When I was coming along, if I hadn't been the trip chairman, I couldn't go. Now they would let the trip chairman go for free. So that was the way that I got to go. If I could get enough people to get on the bus, then I could go free. We'd have we had at one of our ski carnivals, we had 8 bus loads of skiers, and some of them were non-skiers, but we'd have this carnival, and people would come just to ski and have fun. I guess they coming to get me.
Well, yeah. How long have you been doing the summit? A long time? What's the summit like?
The summit started in 1973. Like I say, we started planning it in about 71, but the first one was in 73. And the ball has been rolling. Now, right now, the ball we trying to push the ball back uphill. You know, it's not as easy as it was with the ball rolling downhill, picking up snow as it went. Now we trying to roll the ball back up the hill to pick up some more snow, but it's rolling. We are improving in every aspect of the organization.
So now, you started with a lot less clubs than you got now. What?
Well, at the first summit, there were 13 clubs, and we were requiring people who attended to be members of clubs. We originally gave the votes to make decisions totally on the clubs. As it progressed, you know, the board of directors or whatever has more influence in making decisions now. And the club thing, in my opinion, it is time for us to start recruiting individual memberships. And I hope that'll come along before I go along. You know, I'm trying to do everything I can. Like I say, I turned 85 last week. I'm gonna try to get to 95. And if I'm in the same shape that I'm in now, I'll set another set of goals at 90.
So you're still skiing?
I'm gonna ski the last time at the next summit. I'm gonna do that, like I say, I'm gonna do that little green trail. And anybody who wants to do the last green trail with me, you know, they can do it. And I intend to have a line of folks looking like they had over there at Dollar Mountain the other day, coming down the hill slowly.
Well, that's about it. You got anything you want to add to that?
I like it.
That was great, Art. That was really great. Thank you, sir.
From the cotton field to the snow field, here I come.
Well, get that microphone.
John, thank you. I'm sorry it took us so long. 1 o'clock now, but what we're gonna do, Rick, he's gonna put this video together, and then we're also it's gonna be translated into print as well. We're gonna go into clean history.
You share the link, so you can put it up on your website. And,
They'll put it up on theirs as well. And that's part of what we're trying to do digitally. On their board, I've explained even as of today's meeting that the content has to be.
That's all. Now we had written a letter to Detroit to come to the carnival, and Detroit came. Dick Martin didn't show. And at that carnival, that's where Joe Dorsey had come from New York. He had come from New York, and at the time I was trying to get all my frat brothers around Chicago into skiing, and was being pretty successful at it. Well, Joe had come, went on a trip with us, had a good time, and said, hey, after he went out to California and saw Ben out there, well, I think they knew each other back. Didn't you know him in New York?
Days.
Yeah. Yeah.
We gotta go do our thing.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, okay.
So you're so welcome.